Hey everyone! Today, a light-hearted video game discussion. There are two things specifically that made me want to make this video, two conversations I had with friends of mine about the fact that you and I, we don't play video games the same way. The first thing, both of these happened on the podcast I'm on. So, at some point, one of the members, Robert, of Gaming With Me, a dude I actually met in real life not that long ago, amazing experience, he never used to play games. He got caught up in some kind of drama and shit, and he just never played games. And then at some point something went berserk in him and he started finishing video games so fast, one after the other, just destroying all these games, blowing everything out of the water, shaming the rest of the podcast with how many games he finished. And it came to a discussion where he's creating a series back at the backlog. I love that series so much. Anyway, and he's playing games that are on his video game backlog. And one of the games he was playing was Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
お前の望む道を行け。お前自身を信じてな。
私たちはレックスにみんなに出会えた最高の思い出です。
約束だろ。俺は君のために楽園に行く。楽園に行ってみせる。だから行こう。君が何のために生まれてきたのかを、俺たちと君の未来がどこに向かおうとしているのかを。
思い出いっぱい作ろうね。やめて、私の思い出を奪わないで。
ホブラ
ー! Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is an amazing game, probably one of my top 10 all-time favorite RPGs ever. And he caught up to me, that's how much he's been playing video games. He caught up to me, I was in chapter 5. And I asked him how long was his playtime. And he was in chapter 5 of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, this massive RPG, amazing game, in 30 hours. When I started chapter 5, I clocked in at 90 plus hours, I think 91 or 92 hours. That was a massive difference, and it sparked a little bit of a debate on how he was playing the game, about side quests, and people were like, well, how can I put 90 hours in the game? So I thought it was weird that Robert took 30 hours to get to that point, like how fast he must have done that. People were like, yeah, you must be skipping side quests, this and that. But then the discussion turned to me, how did I put 90 hours to get to that chapter? And it's actually pretty simple. I like the side quests in the game. I like grinding. I like this game so much. It's one of the 3 rare games. There's only 3 games in existence where I love grinding, where just the battle system is so much fun. The others of those being Baten Kaitos and Tales of Symphonia. These 3 games are the only games in existence where I think grinding is so much fun. So there's the grinding aspect, there's the story, there's all the side, and there are so many side quests and stories, and some side quests take fucking hours. So I was already thinking about it, it's interesting, you know, it's like we clearly do not play this game the same way. The other discussion that happened a few podcasts later, a viewer asked if you could only play 3 games for the rest of your life, which games would that be? Obviously. I don't remember all 3 that I picked. I think one of them must have been probably a Zelda Breath of the Wild, I'm not sure. The other one was Morrowind. I think that's what it was. And obviously my number 1 was always Baten Kaitos. Any excuse to talk about Baten Kaitos, I will take it. Perfection in video game 4. This shit is art.
In this world, there are things that people mustn't touch.
Who cares?
the god of demise and destruction, the cursed power of Malpertio.
The Ant Magnus? Never heard of that before.
Damn! The bastards!
It's unthinkable to act against the Empire?
Us heroes, we have so much to do.
I've been waiting.
Kill him. If left alone, he will prove a threat to my empire.
Let us trust the young,
one more.
who hold the spirit within them.
Struggle alone will fill a great emptiness within you and ease your pain.
And I mentioned that the reason I would play Baten Kaitos is first of all, I can't live without this game. I can't live without the game. It is just so beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. Perfection from beginning to end. And I mentioned that I never even finished it 100%. I never completed this game 100%. And Terminator Juice and Mr. T in the podcast, they started not arguing, but the discussion came up as like, how can it be? It's your favorite game ever? You don't even have it 100%? And no, I just don't. I have so many hours in the game. I finished it at least 5 times, I think. The first one, just specifically this one. At least 5 times I finished it already. And I still plan on getting it 100%. The thing is, with Baten Kaitos, you fight with cards.
This! This! Ha! Ha! I am the darkness. Hear my voice. Demons of darkness!
Let me just quickly explain why I don't have it in 100%, because some people, they don't know the game. You fight with cards. I love the system. You basically heal it. You have like multiple characters. Every player has a deck in the first game at least. In the second game you have a combined deck. It's weird. Every player has a deck of cards. Healing items, defensive items, attack items. They're all cards. They call them Magnus. You do a combo with a blade, you know, with like your swords or axes, whatever weapon the character uses. You have magic attacks and, like I said, healing items, and you can combine cards together to form special attacks. And in the game you get newer weapons, and basically there's an outside combat system as well. Outside of combat, there's another system with the cards. Let's say you have a healing item. It's 1 scoop of ice cream. You find later on in the game another scoop of ice cream. But several hours passed, this scoop of ice cream, the card changes after a few hours. It melted. It's now a melted scoop of ice cream. So now you're like, well, I can't do this. Later on, you're lucky. You find this card again, scoop of ice cream. You combine them into a sorbet. After actual real life hours pass, maybe 3 hours, this card changes again into a sorbet parfait. Now, in another hour, this sorbet parfait is gonna melt, but you can combine the sorbet parfait as it is now. You have 1 hour to do this, actual in-game hour, but you can combine it with a plate of cheese. You find a cheese. You need 2 cheeses. This cheese will evolve into a super cheese in 2 hours. In half an hour, this cheese will roll. They become different cards then. So, once this cheese evolved, this one rolled. You need to find a new one. You combine them into a plate of cheese. Now you have a sorbet parfait and a plate of cheese. In combat, you then combine these cards to create the ultimate dessert card. And that is how card collecting works. Some cards are affected by real time. They either upgrade, they become less, they rot away. Some cards become characters. You might need to cut the cheese before you can make the plate of cheese with a specific blade. You don't have this blade yet, so you find a new blade, you have to upgrade the blade. It is such an intricate system that without a guide, and I've never used a guide for this game before, that without a guide it is almost impossible to complete this game 100%, simply for the fact that it is so intricate and complicated and you don't get a lot of hints. A lot of these combos you can never even find them out. So sometimes you combine in combat a card with like a cheese and a plate of cheese and an ice cream and shit to make one new card to collect. And that's like 1,000 cards. I think there's like 100 combos. Some combos use like 6 cards. 6 cards, half of those cards they take like hours just to collect. It's insane. But I still plan to do this 100% one day. And this brings us to this video with the latest intro ever. You and I, we simply do not play games the same way. We don't play games the same way, and that is okay. A few other examples I had for this. Just some random quick examples, and then we're coming to a nice example at the end still. Majora's Mask 3D. Majora's Mask is one of my favorite games ever. They remade both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for the 3DS. I did not like the Ocarina of Time remake. It felt oversaturated. It clashed with the style of the game. However, for Majora's Mask, this really worked in its favor. And I would probably consider this a superior version to the Nintendo 64 version. One thing I like so much about this, which not many people like, and is one of my favorite things about the 3DS, and I never play without it, it's a 3D effect. Certain gimmicks are loved by people and hated by others. For example, I love the 3D effect on the 3DS. It makes this game so good. I like the depth it puts on the game. I feel in a way games become more beautiful with the 3D effect. It's an amazing gimmick and I love it. But most people I talk to, they hate it. Same thing with Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Motion controls. 3D effect, motion controls. Gimmicks that some people love, some people hate. A lot of people I talk with, they love the motion controls. I hate the motion controls. And an example why I give Metroid Prime 3 Corruption is overall you aim, it works okay, but people say these motion controls are absolutely amazing. To me, it didn't work. You have to open a door. I think you hold the button, you push the remote forward, you twist it. Over half the time, it didn't work for me. I do not like motion controls. I want to walk to a door, press a button. I don't want to have to bother with the controls figuring out how to work. Controls need to be intuitive. They need to work. And for me, motion controls, they don't work. Because we just like different things. Something else, for example, in a smaller category, creation. I like creating things in video games. I like creating characters. I love creating characters in games like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim. A lot of people, they prefer not to create a character, they want a character to be prescribed to them. I immerse myself with games like Elder Scrolls where you can create your own character in that character because I decide who this character is going to be. That for me is the ultimate immersion. I like creating characters. I also like creating levels. A lot of people hate creating levels in Super Mario Maker, they just want to play them. But I like the creation aspect, I like being creative. I like creating levels in games like Super Mario Maker, and I like creating levels in games like Super Smash Bros.
I'm a pretty picky eater, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just very, like, okay, here's something. McChicken sandwiches, right? You know how they come with lettuce and mayo? I remove that. I tell them to get it plain, and if I could just have it plain. I'm a simple guy, you know? I just want my chicken, and that's it. Give me a patty and buns. A patty and buns is all I need in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm a simple guy. Also, I guess that could be annoying for some people to be like, dude, why? You know, that's kind of a big thing amongst my friends. They're always like, dude, he's so picky. But wouldn't you want to feed a picky person? Because, like, a picky person's easy to feed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, no, I think I need that. Oh, God. Yo, what the hell?
Super Smash Bros. Brawl had a really cool level creating aspect that I absolutely loved. I had so much fun and I have so many hours in this game specifically because of level creating. Another thing that I like that people are different in, where we like different settings. People like Robert of Gaming With Me, they like the try hard shit, final destination, no items, Fox only bullshit. And that's okay. But when we play with the guys from the podcast, we play 4 on 4. When you play 4 on 4, I can't fucking do final destination because you're in the air most of the time. There's no room to strategize, to have fun. I can't be like, okay, I like playing with Donkey Kong, he's my main. And he has a charge attack, he can swing his arm, he can charge it up. I like hiding, charging it up, and jumping into battle. You can't do things like that. You can't jump into battle because you're always flying in the air because of how the battles evolve when you have like a flat stage with no items. I like playing with items on low, but I love playing without items. I don't mind playing without items, but I like my stages. I like running around, jumping around, hiding behind a rock, jumping off a high cliff, smashing down into combat. I think that's fun. That's a lot of fun. That's where I get the fun of. I like the variety in the levels. It's one of the things I like about Smash Brothers. It's not like normal fighters. You have intricate levels that allow you to strategize in different ways. And a lot of people, they just want Final Destination, a flat level, and especially with 4 on 4, it's just not as fun, I feel, than when you have a flat level. I like the chase, the combat, the strategy, and none of that, in my opinion, because I play games differently, is offered in a flat stage. So, we've covered quite some ground already, and there's basically only one more thing to cover. Now, some games, I just like to play them over and over and over. There are people who play a game, they get through it, they dump it, they get on to the next. I can't do that, especially with a game I love. I come back to it over and over and over again. There are some games, specifically like Bionic Commando on the Nintendo, my all-time favorite Nintendo game. One of my top 10 favorite games of all time. I love this game so much. Specifically, you can't jump in this game. You have an arm, you swing it like Spider-Man and you swing around and you shoot. The music is just gorgeous in this game. It's one of the best soundtracks I feel on the original 8-bit. It is absolutely amazing. And the gameplay is just so much fun. The gameplay is so much fun. And I finished, this is probably one of the games I finished the most in my life. And I play it over and over and over and I just love it to death. And there's another game that I play like that. I've mentioned it before. It's Tales of Symphonia. Tales of Symphonia is one of the greatest games ever made. Also one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. And like I said before, with Baten Kaitos and which was the other one, Xenoblade, grinding is fun. The combat is so much fun. I have roughly 1,000 hours in Tales of Symphonia. I have a lot of saves in Tales of Symphonia in front of specific bosses. There are boss fights that I thought was so amazing. I make an extra save. There's a story point or a cutscene. I make another extra save and I go back to those save files to replay certain boss fights, to revisit certain scenes. And the main thing why I spent so much time in Tales of Symphonia is one of my most played games ever. If I would make a top 10 of my most played games ever, where I put the most hours in there, Tales of Symphonia would be in there. I come back to this over and over and over. I play these games over and over and over because they're so much fun. The gameplay is so good when it comes to the combat, the swinging mechanics, or the upgrading mechanics, Tales of Symphonia, anything. I have to play these games over and over and over. And some people can't do that. They finish a game, they move on. And then we basically come to the final main topic of this video. Which started, like I said, because of the way Robert and I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so differently. I like exploring. I like exploring. I like immersing myself in the world. There are games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And Skyrim is one of those as well. Where a specific... I just do so much bullshit. So much outside of the main quest, be it grinding, side quests, random visiting the world or exploring, and in Skyrim, it took me about, I think, 200 hours before I even started the main quest. I never finished this game yet because I barely touched the first 3 missions of the main quest at this point. We simply don't play games the same way. And that's the same way in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when I reached chapter 5. Robert had 30 hours in there. I was over 90. I look around. I use games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, and even Luigi's Mansion. And I look around at everything. I spend hours of my gameplay looking at the sky, looking at the fucking floaty things in the forest, looking at how a character looks. I follow characters to see what they are doing. I like looking at the grass, the way it reacts. I like immersing myself in the game in such a way where I just spend so much time looking at everything, looking at the graphics, the environment. And that's when we go to the final one, Luigi's Mansion. This is... Did I not bring this up in the first part? I'm getting confused by my own shit. I mentioned in the beginning, there were 2 games, 2 discussions I had that made me want to make this video. The Xenoblade Chronicles discussion and the Baten Kaitos discussion. I was going to talk about this game, but I completely forgot that there actually was a 3rd reason before all of those that made me want to do this video. Luigi's Mansion 1. Terminator Juice and Mr. T on the podcast, they don't like this game. Terminator Juice keeps saying how he rented Luigi's Mansion and in one night he finished it, 3 or 4 hours he finished it, he walked through it like that. And this is why you and I, we don't play games the same way. Luigi's Mansion, I tried going through my save file. I couldn't find my save file. Maybe I've overwritten it. Either way, I don't think it saves game time. It took me about 10 hours to finish Luigi's Mansion. And the same thing goes for Luigi's Mansion 3. I like these games. They reek of atmosphere. They reek of atmosphere. I like looking around, especially now in Luigi's Mansion 3. Everything is interactable. There's so many different ways for Luigi to look at a cupboard, look into a toilet, go into a drain. There's different interactions with so many things that are reprogrammed over and over and over. There's new things. The further you go into the game, there's new things for Luigi to do. You keep discovering new things. There's so much to do. And I like seeing it all. I like experiencing it all. I like looking around. The lighting is so good in this game. I love walking in, looking around, looking up and down with my flashlight at everything, how it looks. I love just spending time in this game. And I did a poll on Twitter and asked you guys where you were in Luigi's Mansion 3 and how much time you put into it. Specifically to elaborate on this point right now. I'm actually quite happy with the amount of feedback I got on this. So, Robert of Gaming With Me, I was actually surprised. He finished it in 12 hours. We have Skate's Finest, who finished it 100% in 23 hours. He took twice as long, but he took the time to find everything. We have over here Tommy Ope, 12.5 hours, he finished it. We have Neo Lives, 30 hours, finished at 100%. Now, there are 3 people who were approximately at the same chapter. Terminator Juice, The Insane Game Freak, and myself. We're all part of the same podcast, which is interesting. We are, Terminator Juice just started floor 8. At this point, I just started floor 8 as well. And The Insane Game Freak just started floor 7. were all about at the same point in the game. I spent, I wrote it down, 9 hours, 7 hours and 45 minutes to get to that point. Interestingly enough, Terminator Juice spent 8 hours and 15 minutes getting to that point. Meaning he actually this time took longer, which is funny considering here he took like half the time it took me to play this game. And the Insane Game Freak, he spent 4 hours and 45 minutes to that point, to get to that point. I don't know, see? And that is the whole point. Wait, I'm forgetting somebody. Clocked It, also from the podcast, because Clocked It had to be special and fucking send me that shit in a DM on Hangouts instead of on my Twitter poll. Let me just fucking find that shit. Oh my god, Clocked It, you motherfucker, where did you put that shit? Was it in a personal thing? Okay, I think it was in the group chat. Clocked It, you piece of shit. Stop trying to be special. What the fuck is that shit? Clocked It, he was... I think he... Fuck. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Maybe it was on Twitter? God damn you, Clocked It. The reason I can't find it because he posted an image. There it is. It was on Twitter. Excuses. Clocked It, played 8.5 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to get about to floor 11. Which means he took less time than Juice to get further. And anyway, the whole point of this is to say everybody has different types. Everybody is at a different point because we don't play games the same way. Some people, they go straight to the finish. Some people, they like exploring the level itself, seeing what has to find, playing with the lighting, and others, they want to collect everything 100%. Some people have the goal to collect everything 100%, but they didn't yet because it's bullshit. And other people, they want to collect things 100% either because it's easier and it makes the feeling of this feeling of satisfaction just a lot higher. And when it comes to Luigi's Mansion 3, it is perfection. It is probably one of my favorite games this year. But it is not that different from the original. I play it the exact same way. I look around the same way, but there's so much more to do, I give it that. I just don't understand how somebody could finish this game in like 3 or 4 hours. Because it means you would have to run to the end. Like I said, I like exploring, looking around. And everything works differently in different games. In some games, there's the gimmicks that some people like or don't like. Other games, some people race to the finish, and others, they look around forever. They stall to complete missions forever. Others, they enjoy replayability. Replayability over and over and over, the same thing because it's just that good. Creation, character creation, level creation. I can lose hours, hundreds of hours in the example of Mario Maker, for example. Character creation, world creation. I can lose hours in that shit. There are so many different ways to play games. And I feel the last thing that we need to do in the gaming community, last thing we should do, is judge others on how they like playing games. It's okay if Robert races to the finish, if Terrell races to the finish. It is okay if I want to complete a game 100%, I just haven't put the time into it yet because it's so bullshit. It is okay to enjoy mechanics, gimmicks that other people just don't like. There are so many things to do in video games, and the great thing about it is its variety. The way we play a game, the way we struggle with missions, the way we go to the end, the way we do quests over and over, the way we just do the battles, the way we like the grinding, the fucking grinding and games that are just so perfectly programmed, so well done when it comes to the music and the battle system, that is just so much fun just playing them over and over and over. Everybody plays games differently. You and I, we don't play games the same way. And that's okay. Stay real.